Greetings to you, the lovely GIC viewers and listeners within and beyond the borders of the Republic of Namibia, and a very warm welcome to your Tuesday morning edition of the Public Enterprises Information Sharing Session. As always, we are coming to you live from the Government Information Center studio in the heart of the nation's capital. And it's always an absolute pleasure being in your company. For this morning's episode, I will be your host, Heleni Felepo-Samunyela. And I am joined in the studio by the nation's statistician general, right? And but before I can officially welcome him to the GIC, or back to the GIC rather, I'd like to extend a warm invitation to you, Namibia, to be part of this conversation by following the discussion on our social media platforms where we are streaming this show live. Now on Facebook, we are at the Government Information Center, or if you rather would want to stream us live on our YouTube channel, our handle there is the Government Information Center as well. I'm keen to hear from you. Add your voice to this conversation by commenting your sentiments in the comment sections on our social media platforms. Now, if you are wondering, this morning we are discussing the 2025 and 2026 Namibia Household Income and Expenditure Survey, as affectionately known the NHEIS, right? And as earlier mentioned, I am joined in the studio by the CEO of the Namibia Statistics Agency, Mr. Alex Shimwafeni. Mr. Shimwafeni, once again, it's such an absolute pleasure to have you back at the GIC. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, and good morning to the viewers.
Right. Now, Mr. Shimwafeni, to be precise, on the 3rd of September last year, we had you here at the GIC. I personally had the pleasure of hosting you here, and you were just breaking grounds on the commencement of the nation's income and expenditure survey. Right? I'd like for you to please just break the ice for this morning. For somebody who was not viewing, for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, what is the significance or the objectives of the 2025-2026 Household Income and Expenditure Survey?
Yes, thank you. The Namibia Household Income and Expenditure Survey, it's a survey that collects data on the income levels, the spending patterns of the households across the country. Mm-hmm. And the data is actually used to measure the poverty levels, assess the living standards in the country, and also give information for evidence-based policy making and national development plans that are aimed to improve the well-being of all Namibians. Now, this survey is also the only household survey that provides information, like I said earlier, for poverty indicators and poverty profiles. Mm-hmm. It provides information on income distribution, income differentials, income inequality, what we talk about, the Gini coefficients, mm-hmm. also on the household consumption, as well as on the expenditure patterns of the households.
Right. Now, I'm keen to know, how will the survey be conducted? And perhaps whilst you are there, perhaps if you can please also dwell on the processes that are involved in the survey.
Yes, as by the nature of the project or the study, mm-hmm. it's a survey. Mm-hmm. So meaning it's a sample that will be selected, and only certain households that were randomly selected will be interviewed in different regions.
So it's not every household that will be
No,
part
it's not.
of this.
It's not like a census where we have to go to each and every household.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a sample, and it started on the 28th of April this year in 2025, mm-hmm. and it will go all along until 22 of April 2026. Okay. It's a 12 months survey
Wow.
1 year cycle,
Okay.
which is very important because we need to capture all the seasonal patterns, or what we call the yearly seasons in all the regions,
Okay.
all the 14 regions of the country.
Sorry,
And
Mr. Shumafeni. Just for clarity's sake there, when you're saying the seasons, does this mean the winter, the autumns, the spring, or are we talking about economical terms?
oh yeah, it's basically the yearly seasons, the winter, summer, but also whether it's holidays and school-going times,
Okay.
because the spending patterns are different. So we need to
Absolutely.
capture all those.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, now please continue.
Yes, and then to go to the process, how the survey will
Be conducted.
will be conducted. For the households that were selected, meaning that the people will go there to do a face-to-face interview.
Okay.
They will ask questions, and then afterwards they will leave a daily record book, what we call the DRB,
Okay.
where people have to complete their spending patterns for the 14 days. Some people thought it was a burden, but I'm saying that sometimes you have money in your wallet, and after a week or so you wonder what happened to the money. What did you spend it on? So this is something that helps you even to go in the future. You can go into the habit of also recording what is it you are spending. So they will get that daily record book. Then they will have to record transactions such as food, beverages, tobacco, and other items that they have spent on during that period.
Okay. All right. That is duly noted. Now, Mr. Shumafeni, I want to find out from you. There are a lot of scammers that are roaming, the streets these days. Now, as far as identification is concerned, how will the survey, the Namibia Household Income and Expenditure Survey stuff be identified?
Yes, just like with the census, they will be identified with the attire of the survey, which are beeps this time around, also just like the census, which are branded. Then, in addition to that, they will have IDs for the survey, and they will also have introductory letters that will also give them authority to enter into the households that were selected. And then obviously people can also contact the Namibia Statistics Agency should they want to verify on any enumerator that will visit their households.
Okay, that is very important because like I've earlier mentioned, we have scammers roaming the streets and they will take advantage of this opportunity and disguise themselves as the NSA staff and want to get, to the household, and it's not a good thing. I'm glad that the nation or the participants can actually call the NSA to just identify and to verify that this individual showing up at their doorsteps are actually indeed legitimate.
That's correct.
All right. Now, Mr. Shumafeni, I would also like to find out from you how many field workers, field staff has been dispatched by the NSA thus far, countrywide, and how many are expected to approach a household?
Yes, it's a good question because unlike the census where we had around 13,000 enumerators, this time around we have only 153 enumerators.
Okay.
And I'm saying only because in the census, during the census, maybe it was quite obvious that you could see these enumerators roaming around the streets, but now that the amount is significantly reduced, you can see that you might not be able to catch them. So, and at any given time, we will have a maximum of about 2 enumerators that will enter a household, which is an enumerator with a supervisor. At one point, it might be one person or so that will visit the households to collect the data.
Okay. Are we saying that at some point you would have both of them, the supervisor and their subordinate, working in at once, or will they be coming at different time slots? Maybe the one comes in today, the other one tomorrow, or perhaps in the morning and evening?
No, at any given time, it will be either just the enumerator or the enumerator and the supervisor.
Okay.
And then sometimes the supervisor might not stay long just to make sure that the interview kicks off well, and then he or she needs to go and supervise the other enumerators as well.
All right.
Yeah, and then also, just to go back on the figure of 153, it means per region is anything between 6 to 21 enumerators per region, depending on the number of households there are in the region.
Okay. All right. All right.
But they will be moving around, of course.
They will be moving around, of course. Okay.
Within the region, yes.
Okay. Mr. Shumafeni, can you briefly take us through the preparation processes of and the progress of the survey thus far?
Yes, obviously with any survey or any project of this magnitude, you start off with the planning, the in-house planning or even the desktop planning, and then you go through the recruitment process. Once you have recruited, you have to train the people before they go into the field. And we started the training on the 24th of February this year, 2025, up to the 21st of March, 2025. And then on the 22nd of March, we were supposed to go in the field. But around the week before that, we made a decision that let's hang on, and so that we can make sure that everything is seamless when we go into the field. So people only went into the field on the 28th of April, 2025. But to cover for that gap of about a month that they didn't go into the field, we still gave the enumerators a refresher training for 3 days, on the 23rd up to the 25th of April. And then on the 28th of April, we send them again into the field.
Okay.
That's correct.
All right. Now, Namibia, if you are just tuning in, pardon me, you are tuned into the information sharing session. And for this flagship, it's the Public Enterprises Information Sharing Session, and that is with me, Hileni Philippus Hamunyela. As always, we are coming to you live from the Government Information Center studio in the heart of the nation's capital. Now, as earlier mentioned, today we are discussing the 2025-2026 Namibia Household Income and Expenditure Survey, and I am joined in the studio by the CEO of the Namibia Statistics Agency, Mr. Alex Shumafeni, and he's here to just help shed more light on the survey. Now, Namibia, you too can be part of this conversation by following the discussion on our social media platforms. We are currently streaming this show live. On Facebook, we are at the Government Information Center studio. But if you are a YouTuber and you would like to stream us, you can stream us live on our YouTube channel. Our handle there is MICT Namibia, but the Government Information Center, of course. I am keen to hear from you. Please add your voice to this conversation by commenting in the comment section on our social media platforms. Now, back to our discussion, Mr. Shumafeni. I'd like to find out from you what type of information will be collected throughout this survey. Of course, we are talking about the questionnaire component.
Yes, because of the nature of the survey, which is on the household income and expenditure survey, so we'll look at what it says on income matters, expenditure matters. But to be more specific, we're also going to look at the labor, employment, work and wages and salaries. We are going to look at food security, health matters. We're also going to look at assets in terms of what the households occupies, or rather it's spent on or spending on. For example, asset as a vehicle, how much is it to spend on that? A household as an asset also, how much is it that you're spending also on that one? We need to look at the income by individual members of the household as well. That will determine also the wealth of the households and other financial assets that we are talking about. And then we are also going to look at the anthropometric measurements for children under 5, which is basically measurement of the bodies,
Okay.
looking at things like whether there are nutritional stunting issues and so on.
Okay.
And then obviously the expenditure and the consumption on food, beverages, tobacco items. Now, on the consumption, expenditure is one thing, what you buy in terms of food, but the consumption is another.
Right.
Because you can buy a loaf of bread, but you consume maybe 2 slices of the bread. So those type of measurements will be there in terms of cooking oil. What are the measurements? How much of the cooking oil will the people use? So the consumption part is a very important part of the survey as well.
Okay. Interesting. I couldn't help but I think as you were busy responding to this question that I just posted you now, nutritional value, especially you've mentioned a very fancy word, and now I'm at the back of my mind, I was thinking for the kids, or institutions such as the Ministry of Health, perhaps, or maybe MICT, if need be, if they would need the statistics of the regions pertaining to nutritional value, of course. Is the NSA going to avail these statistics immediately, or will these statistics only then be available after the completion of the survey?
Yeah, obviously it will be available after the completion of the survey, because when you do it during the survey, you are actually giving incomplete information.
Right.
So surveys is very, as much as it might look straightforward, it's very scientific.
Okay.
In terms of the sample size that you're drawing, it must be representative. Now, if you give the information while the survey is going on, you are, for example, maybe just doing half a sample, which is not representative, and then you might have skewed information
and
that you are giving, what we call in statistical terms biased information. So it needs to be unbiased, really, so that you can get valuable information out of that. So this information will come after the survey is completed.
Only after the completion of the survey. Okay, well noted. Now, Mr. Shumafeni, considering that the survey will collect what may be deemed as sensitive, right, or private information, how will the respondents then be guaranteed confidentiality? In what ways, and how will this be done?
Yes, maybe I might just start off with the example we had with the September 2023 Namibia population and housing census, which was at a much, much bigger scale.
Right.
And which is a much longer questionnaire also. So already there we could guarantee you the confidentiality of the information. So basically also from a statistics point of view, you collect data, and then when you disseminate it or processing it, this data is anonymized. So we become numbers now.
All right.
But
no
although we say,
touched.
yes, although we say there are people behind those numbers, we want to know Namibians, how many Namibians are in a certain situation.
Right.
When Her Excellency the President wants to know what is the living standard of Namibians, does not necessarily need to be what is the living standard of Helene, what is the living standard of Alex, but what are the living standard of a typical Namibian at that age, female, and typical Namibian of that age, male in this area, and so on. So the data protection procedures to ensure privacy and security of the respondents are in place within the NSA. And I'm always saying that we also signed the oath of secrecy. And people think that whenever I say that, people think, yes, it's just a piece of paper that you're signing. But the moment you let go of any information that you are not supposed to, we will deal with you, because first of all, we will let you go. You lose your job, basically. And secondly, we can also follow up on that one. We don't have just to leave it there, because it's a law that you are breaking, basically, here.
Okay.
Yeah, but confidentiality is also part of the training that the people are getting, and even the data that is used in the devices that we use to capture this data they're also secured and encrypted when they send the data to the server. for the survey.
Okay. So we are saying that there are punitive measures in place should the officials disclose any information that is deemed confidential.
Definitely, definitely.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Shumafeni, I know that the NSA has employed certain sampling methods to get to the sample that they will be making use of, or to select the participants. Is this participation mandatory, and how will any possible refusal be handled?
Yeah, just to be straightforward, the participation, once you are selected, it is mandatory. And it is a law, actually, that you need to participate in this survey when you are selected. And we have learned from the census also, or from the census, yes, that those people who were refusing, we will try to explain to them really what this is all about, and you need to play your part and participate. The confidentiality of the information is guaranteed. And the law is very clear from the Statistics Act, Act number 9 of 2011, that when you are requested to participate in this statistical collection, you need to bring your part. Should you make yourself guilty of that, there are punitive measures that are in place, which is a fine of 50,000 to be fined to you, or imprisonment of up to 5 years, or both. And we don't want to go there.
Absolutely not.
And what I'm saying is that when we collect this data, I'm always saying that we don't collect the data for ourselves. We collect the data for proper planning.
Yes.
And I'm also saying that some of the people who might not want to participate are people who can also make use of this data, either in their businesses that they are doing or in their daily lives. So, and we have been doing this now since the inception of the NSA, even before the inception of the NSA, when it was still the Central Bureau of Statistics. Yes, what the people need to do is to participate.
Absolutely. Okay, now, Mr. Shumafeni, I want to find out, what are some of the challenges, key challenges that you've encountered throughout? I know it just started now already on the 28th of April this year.
28th of April, yes.
Yes. I would like to find out, so far, what are some of the key challenges that the team has encountered being in the field?
Yes, I must say that we did not really have any major challenges. We had maybe here and then a few people trying to ask what the survey is all about. We had to explain to them with all the documentations that we had, and then we moved on. Okay. So, and with that, I want to thank the Namibian nation, really, those who were participating, and also to thank those in advance that are going to be participating, to thank them for their participation, because this information is needed. We are talking about Namibia is the second highest unequal country in the world. So we want to see whether are we still on that stage, or have we improved on that one? So this is what the survey is going to tell us.
Okay. So, Mr. Shumafeni, we are slowly but surely coming to the end of our discussion this morning. It was a short one, but I'd like to find out from you, when can we expect the Namibia household income and expenditure survey results, and how will these results then influence policy or budgeting or budget planning in Namibia?
Yes, with regard to when to expect the results, we are looking towards the end of the next financial year, which is, then we talk about the survey will end of April next year. So towards the end, that's when we can look at the results, or the initial results, or the preliminary results. What happened is that when the survey ends, normally there might be a need to go back to the information that is given. And now the challenge with this survey also, unlike the census where we could get the information sent through to the server already, the challenge here is that some of the information are still in hard copies, the
Right.
daily record books. That data need to be entered as well, and it will take some time. And then when you enter the data, you also need to do verifications, spot checks, and check whether it was collected correctly. And then you do the data processing, cleaning up, and then also now the data analysis. So we're looking at earliest towards the end of next year.
Okay, towards the end of next year, 2026.
Yeah. And then on the question in terms of how the data will be how it will be used for policy making, decision making,
and budgeting.
plans and budgeting, is that so if we say, for example, that people spend most of their money or their hard-earned income on, let's say, housing, then government should really look at policy and say, what can be done? Is the issue where then we can also go back to the cost drivers. It's the issue of material, building material that may be expensive. I know there was a time we used to import a lot of these building materials from South Africa. So should we do something else to improve those industries? We had a announcement at the State of the Nation address by Excellency the President, President Nandi Ndaitwah, in terms of free education that is coming next year. So it will also be good to see how much relief will it be for people in terms of spending when they're spending on their education. Okay. So this is what really the survey is all about.
Okay. Now, Mr. Shumafeni, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence this morning. And, you know, just highlighting the importance of this survey to the nation. As you've mentioned, it's important for budget planning and for policy making. It is really very highly appreciated. We thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. But maybe before I let you go, what would you like to say to the, to the nation as far as the survey is concerned, those that will be approached, of course, because we did say that it's a sample that will be collected. It's not every household that will be approached. What is your message to the households that are falling part of the sample?
Yeah, thank you. What I would say is that, first of all, thank you for participating, and those that are going to be participating, thank you in advance also. This is your way of playing your part in terms of the development of the country. Data is very important. When people talk about nations, the profile of a country, there should be data available. And when you are refusing it, you are not only putting yourself in the wrong side of the law, but you are now also hindering the process of data to be collected for the country, to give a profile of a nation. And then we can also now hold government accountable to say, these are the areas that we need to look at, and it is by evidence from the data. And we can only do that if we participate in surveys like this. We cannot do that by assumptions or by just thumb-sucking information. This is the opportunity now for us to give that information that is so much needed.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Shumafeni.
You're welcome, once again.
Right. Namibia, that is all the time we had for this morning's discussion. Do join us again next time when we bring you another fruitful discussion here at the GIC. From myself, Hileni Felapesamunyola, and the entire GIC production crew. Until next time, take care.